Let's take a second and think about that moment from Endgame where all seemed lost for Captain America. Imagine if those portals never opened, if Cap really did have to charge Thanos' army by himself. It's lucky for him that those portals did open and that the future of the MCU came flying out. Here are the new heroes, sidekicks, underdogs, and soon-to-be legends who are so much more powerful than anyone gives them credit for. Let's get started. When you're standing next to Captain America, nothing you do is all that impressive. That's why Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes got regulated to B-Team Avengers. That's all about to change as the pair gets their own TV show that will demonstrate just how powerful they are. Falcon has those Exo 7 Falcon wings that allow him to fly at incredible speeds, shoot missiles, can act as a shield, and feature a drone Sam's named Red Wing. Bucky, on the other hand, is a super soldier master assassin with a vibranium arm and a whole lot of anger issues. While both of them are impressive on their own, I bet you anything that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier will prove that they are A-level heroes as a team. Some fans think that neither Sam or Bucky will be the next Captain America, but that both claim the title together. They just gotta learn to get along first. It was really nice of the US government to forget about the two of them breaking the Sokovia Accords. I guess if you help save the entire universe, you're given a get-out-of-jail-free card. Well, a get-out-of-raft-free card. For most of Guardians of the Galaxy, Yondu, Mary Poppins Udanta seemed like an old man whose bark was worse than his bite. You could easily believe that without his ship and crew backing him up, Yondu wouldn't be so tough. Turns out that 99% of the Ravager's power was Yondu alone. When Ronin's Ninja Turtle-looking armies squared up on Yondu 12-1, he didn't mind those odds. Using his whistle-trained Yaka arrow, Yondu took the entire squadron out without breaking a sweat. Volume 2 doubled down on Yondu's skills by showing him obliterating his entire crew with about the same amount of effort. What's crazy about Yondu is that both these sequences were low-effort attacks. We never got to see Yondu truly go all out. It goes without saying that a hardened warrior like Yondu probably has a ton of special moves for when his back is against the wall. We'll likely never know just how powerful Yondu truly was. Now the only question remaining is who would win in a fight between Yondu and the real Mary Poppins. As strong as Yondu is, something tells me old Mary is Thanos level. A spoonful of sugar's not gonna help that medicine go down. It's kind of crazy that Thor was Odin's choice to be his successor when Heimdall was right there. Sure, Thor's a great warrior, but it turns out he really doesn't have what it takes to be a king, or to win at Fortnite. Heimdall, on the other hand, is cool-headed 100% of the time. Among the various powers at Heimdall's disposal are incredible combat skills, an incredible lifespan, and perhaps the greatest supernatural senses in popular culture. I mean, who else can just casually spy on people several galaxies away with his naked eye? Also, I actually didn't know this before researching this video, Heimdall is supposed to be Lady Sif's brother. I have to say, even by Asgardian standards, they are not close siblings. The most notable power Heimdall has at his disposal is that he controls the Bifrost Bridge. This allows him to transport Asgard's finest anywhere in the galaxy. But Loki demonstrated it has another usage. It is a weapon of mass destruction capable of obliterating an entire world. Basically, he's a god among gods, who can see across galaxies and commands a weapon that's on par with the Death Star. So I think all of this means that he's almost as powerful as real-life Idris Elba. Clint Barton has long been the butt of the joke, Avengers-wise, because he's the guy with the bow and arrow standing alongside the likes of Hulk and Thor. I mean, how many times did Jeremy Renner make fun of Hawkeye on SNL? If you can't even get respect from the actor who plays you, that's gotta hurt. No one's making fun of Hawkeye after Endgame though, because it proved he's a greater threat than anyone ever realized. You see, standing next to the mightiest of Earth's mightiest heroes, pretty much any hero would seem lacking. Once we got to see an unhinged Clint Barton on a one-man army-style mission, we finally realized that he wasn't the team's weakest link so much as he was the team's John Wick. Think about it. Clint was an elite assassin who retired to spend time with the love of his life only for his family to be cruelly taken away from him. This led to a years-long rampage as he took down every single crime lord and rival assassin in his way, in an incredibly bloody fashion. Certainly sounds familiar to me. A lot of people have been asking Hawkeye if he's back. Yeah, I'm thinking he's back. Okay, I know you're angry at Peter Quill, and you have every right to be. Yes, the snap that obliterated half of the universe was arguably his fault for dropping the ball right as his teammates were about to go in for the touchdown. The thing that I think most people have forgotten about this infamous moment in Infinity War is that his team was about to finish off Thanos because of Peter Quill. That's right, the Blitz-style combat that kept Thanos off his game long enough for the team to nearly remove his gauntlet was a Quill plan. That's not surprising considering the other leaders were Tony, I have a plan, Attack, Stark, and Doctor Strange, the man who was so obnoxious that he made an immortal monster give up out of sheer annoyance. Quill may have the maturity level you'd expect from someone who was kidnapped by aliens when he was still a kid, but the street smarts he had to rely on to survive in such a harsh environment have made him one of the best tactical minds in the MCU. Remember that all Ronan had to do to utterly obliterate Xandar was touch his hammer on the planet's surface, and he still lost because of Peter Quill's unpredictable ingenuity. So we still may be angry at Quill for his mistakes, but I think he's got the potential for a big comeback. Look, I know that Jimmy Woo isn't technically a superhero, but there's a good chance that he'll be leading his own Disney Plus series at this time in 2023. The lovably silly FBI agent originated as a simple guy who could be blown away by a bit of close-up magic. No one walked away from Ant-Man and the Wasp thinking, I bet in a few years that Woo guy will be an internet sensation. Then came WandaVision, which took Jimmy Woo from the bottom of the MCU character pile up to the top. It showed Woo in action as not only an intelligent FBI agent, but a kind leader who contrasted well against the harsh director Hayward. Remember that not a single person working at that sword base so much as helped Darcy get a cup of coffee, despite the fact that she was responsible for most of their intelligence on the sitcom world. Then Woo shows up with coffee for everyone, showing that he knows exactly how to keep talent appreciated and happy like a true leader. This makes him a prime candidate to take Coulson's place as a middle management Marvel hero. That, and he managed to beat up like 3 guards in a matter of seconds. That's some close-up magic for you. If you stop and think about it, of all the characters in the MCU who could have a Disney Plus series in the future, Valkyrie would probably have the best of them all. I mean, her life story involves her and the other Valkyries helping Odin to conquer the 9 realms, only for the Valkyries to fall in a brutal final battle against Hela. Who wouldn't want to watch that show? What it would also showcase for the future of the MCU is just how formidable the new Queen of Asgard truly is. I mean, we've really never seen Valkyrie at her best. In Ragnarok, she was a drunk bounty hunter who had no problem abandoning her people and her responsibilities. That probably explains why she wasn't super judgmental over Thor's post-Infinity War breakdown. If anyone could understand, it would be her. Now that she's back at her best again, it would be nice to see why she was such a legendary Asgardian warrior in the first place. Basically, someone get this woman a Pegasus. Perhaps no other smaller-time MCU hero out there has faced more disrespect than Rhodey has over the years. He's been recast, forced to use hammer tech, mocked by the other Avengers, and brutally injured by a member of his own team in Civil War. Luckily, Armor Wars is finally going to do right by Rhodey. It will show that Rhodes not only has what it takes to follow in Tony's footsteps, but to surpass him. While Stark had plenty of skill as Iron Man, Rhodes is a trained pilot who operated in 138 combat missions. That kind of experience is one thing you can't build in a lab. Once Tony's old tech is stolen, Rhodes is likely going to go rogue to get his old friend's legacy back. That means that we will truly understand why Rhodey deserves the name War Machine. Also, I kind of hope we get a flashback showing that time Rhodey dropped a tank in front of a general and then asked, "Boom, you looking for this?" I don't care what the Avengers said. That's a great story, dude. Ever since Edgar Wright pulled out of the original Ant-Man movie, Scott Lang has seemed like the odd hero out in the MCU. Wright's passion project hero may have been bolstered by a strong performance from Paul Rudd and a scene-stealing reveal in Civil War, but he seemed like the afterthought Avenger at best. Then Ant-Man's sequel rolled around and showed that all that was missing to make Lang an A-lister was the right partner. Hope Van Dyne made an instant impression on Marvel fans the second she ran across a knife in slow motion. Her Their fighting skills, mixed with Scott Lang's infiltration experience and improvisational style, make the couple the best tag team in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, hands down. This was on display so much in Endgame that while the pair were busy trying to activate the time machine, no one noticed that a giant Ant-Man was still fighting in the field. Their chemistry just kind of draws you in like that. While the first two Ant-Man films had small stakes, plots, and villains, the third will feature one of the most formidable villains in Marvel Comics, Kang the Conqueror. So it sounds like Marvel is ready to show just how tough this super couple really is. I think the single most undervalued MCU character in terms of power level is Mantis from the Guardians. Sure, she doesn't have punchy powers or photon blasts like Captain Marvel, but she has a different kind of power set that makes her unbelievably powerful. As an empath, Mantis can feel others' emotions and manipulate their minds while touching them. This would only be moderately impressive if it weren't for the two biggest examples of her powers we've seen thus far. She managed to hold off both Ego, the living planet, and Thanos. Both of these villains were god-level powerful, with minds obsessed with genocide on a galactic scale. To be able to hold them at bay proves that Mantis is on a whole other level than all of the other Guardians. Although she's got nothing on Drax's incomparable powers of stealth and invisibility, of course. While we know these Marvel characters are powerhouses, there are still a few on the way that I bet are going to be. Watch characters like Monica Rambeau, Cassie Lang, and Harley Keener. Smart money says their stock is going to rise like their GameStop.